and they borrow a lot of that philosophy. The best way I can put it is that this car is Germanese. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today I have something for you that you've kind of seen before, but you haven't really seen before, at least on this channel. And this is a 2026 CX-90 Inline-6. I currently have a plug-in hybrid from 2024. I want to do a quick drive and just talk about some differences. I want to give a shout out to Eldorado Mazda for giving me this to drive for you today. Real quick here for this 2026, this is a premium sport. This premium sport trim has blacked out accents, so you don't find a lot of chrome on it. One of my favorite features of this 26 is how this is now black as opposed to the silver on my 2024 premium. I think that helps add to the sportiness of the car. You can see the Inline-6 badging here is also blacked out. The wheels are black, so this is great. Now with this car, the total sticker price of this is $50,125. There are some dealer add-ons, such as I think they did ceramic coating and tint and all that. Nothing big, but this is a $50,000 car, $50,125. The question would be, was it worth it? So let's talk about that when I drive. But just off the bat, since this is the Inline-6, it's a 3.3 liter Inline-6 turbo. So it does 280 horsepower, it does 332 pound-feet of torque. So that's enough for what this is, and it's all-wheel drive. It's a rear-biased all-wheel drive system. So let's keep that in mind as we talk about it. I've already reviewed the interior in the CX-90, and I also did a CX-70 video to talk about that. I'm not going to get fully into that in this video. I'm just doing a walk around for you, but you can see I forgot to mention the black badging here. So Sky Active black badge, the Mazda badge, and the CX-90 all-wheel drive badge is black. This is the Sport, so you don't have the color matched trim right here. I think that actually makes the CX-90 look better, but that's my personal opinion. This makes it look more like a CX-50, but that might be what somebody that's going for the sport trim is looking for. And nice roof racks up top. So pretty comprehensive package for what it is. Is it worth $50,000? Let's get in and drive so I can tell you that. Inside the 2026 CX-90, push button start, image of your car right there, nice digital gauge. Same jingles. One key difference in this right off the bat is they updated the gauges here. In the previous models, you had like a bigger gauge. It wasn't aesthetically appealing as this one is. This looks more like a traditional gauge layout. Nice RPM to the left, big speedometer in the center, and it's not digital, believe it or not. To get the digital, you have to look at the heads-up display there, and then over to the right, you have your information stack. I really like what they did with these gauges. I'm not a fan of on the 2024, or actually the 2025 and below's gauge cluster, so I thought that this was a needed update. It's the same gripe that I have with every digital infotainment system on the market applies to this, and that is, why don't we have more custom options? It's digital. I get that introduces, if you introduce more code, you have the chance of a higher failure, so there's more testing that has to be done, but it's digital. We should be able to keep the option to change and refresh and customize a little bit more. Your customizations here are locked. You have this info button and it'll cycle through these, but they're very limited. You have the compass, you can turn it completely off. You have your info, which is your battery meter, and this has a mild hybrid engine too. I forgot to mention in between the engine and the transmission to give it a little bit of a boost in power. And then you have your eye active senses, which I always find to be worthless. I mean, it just tells you that your senses are working, but when they don't work, you get an error anyway that will tell you that something's not working. So I think this is a waste of space here. I tend to just leave it on info so I have something to look at. If you don't know, on these Mazda infotainments for the CX series, if you press the radar button, it'll give you a shift in the gauges, and then you have a newer style where they flow upward, and then it has your Mazda in the middle. And when you're driving in traffic, it'll show you little squares or rectangles that are the other cars that the radar is picking up, so you can be aware, more spatially aware of what's going on around you. But I do like this traditional gauge layout. I think they did a nice, clean job. The fonts are clear and easy to read. In this 26 car, as opposed to mine, you have this like metal trim, and I think this was the same as the CX-90 video that I did. And then you have this nice kind of stitching that's tan, looks more off-roady, but black interior with that kind of tan stitching, and then the metal finishes. It's a rugged and masculine car, and I think that's great for the price point. So let's give this a go so we can talk about that. I think the steering wheel is a little bit thicker. Maybe mine's worn, having almost 30,000 miles, but it feels thicker. The leather is definitely more fresh. For mine being 2 years old, the leather has gotten really smooth and shiny, a little bit faster than I thought that it would, but that's okay. So in 2026, this bigger screen is now standard. In the 24s, unless you got the Premium Plus, you were stuck with the smaller screen, and it wasn't a touch screen. This one is a touch screen when you're in CarPlay. So, and it's big as standard, which makes sense. I don't know why Mazda kept 2 screen sizes for their more premium offering. To me, if the CX-90 is your flagship vehicle, it's a rolling advertisement, and what you invest into that, keep in mind people will be getting in and out of these cars. It says a lot about your brand, and if this is your most premium offering, even if a trim is called premium, it should be ready to go and be very nice and equipped. I'm gonna give this an acceleration. I'm gonna put it in sport mode real quick here. Let's give it a go here. So the acceleration, just like in the CX-90 video that I did, this Inline-6 is good. It's not the fastest thing on the road, but it's good. And I genuinely mean that. It does require you to wind it out a little bit to get some of that mid-range grunt, but all in all, it's well. I do believe that the plug-in hybrid is faster. I think that electric motor does a lot more for the assistance of power. So if you care more about speed than anything else, that plug-in hybrid might be good for you. Now, the elephant in the room for me would be the transmission. I've talked about that in my CX-90 videos. The transmission, the hard shifts, and how unrefined it feels for it being a clutch system, a clutch-based transmission. But they fixed that in 26. The ride has been way smoother. So a few things that I just need to nail right off the bat here. The Inline-6 is better because of all-around usability. There seems like there's more torque always. And number 2, the transmission has improved for this model year. So the issues that they had for 24 have been worked out. That was my biggest gripe for the 24, and I've had the software updated. I've taken it into a dealership, and it still shifts roughly, especially when you're coming down to a stop. And I learned my lesson in being a beta tester for a first model year car. That was the first year they came out, and I should have known better. It's a new architecture. There's always bugs. So that's a hard lesson learned, but now Mazda has fixed it. It seems that they've retuned the suspension too, and maybe it might be the wheel size, because on the Premium Plus that I have, I think that's a 21-inch wheel size, and it's a little bit more rough. Now these are not adaptive dampers, but this definitely rides a lot smoother. Road noise is still quite high. I'm hearing whirling even while I'm on the freeway. and that was the reason that my wife hated that car is because of how loud it is inside. Now that's all relative. It's relative to what you normally drive. If you drive a Toyota Corolla around town, this is gonna feel insulated and quiet. The leather quality it's good. The interior quality is good, and so this is where I start to talk about the value proposition of this car. This is $50,000 plus, right? You can get the lower trim for less than that in the 40s, the mid 40s. And the aim of the CX-90 is to compete with the German competitors, a big German competitor that starts with BMW, okay? And they borrow a lot of that philosophy. The best way I can put it is that this car is Germanese. It's a German car that has Japanese influence baked into the entire being of it. Its rear biased all-wheel drive system is just like something that BMW would do. And that's one of the biggest selling points of this car. That's one of my favorite aspects of this car. That and the steering. Mazda makes driver's cars. They make one of the greatest driver's cars ever made, the Miata, whether you agree or not. If you disagree, then you've probably never driven one. But if you agree, it's because Miata is always the answer. I don't own a Miata. But the steering and the architecture, and if you look under this car, Savage Geese does a very good job of taking you under the CX-90 and explaining what it is. So I recommend you go watch that video, but it would look like something German. The leather is good. The simplicity of the interior is great, and that's what Mazda specializes in. So they've made something that's simple but complex but affordable. It's not as fast, it's not as luxurious, it doesn't look as good as what it's trying to replicate, but the price looks good. It's attractive, and it's a lot of vehicle for the price. You have a third row back there in the CX-90. CX-70 does not, but the CX-90 does. You have a beautiful drivetrain, a great engine. So what I was saying is I had colleagues in here that sat on the back bench seat, and they were commenting on how comfortable it was. And this colleague in particular is a car person, and they've had many cars and they drive many different cars, and they were actually impressed. They were impressed by the way the interior looked, the way the interior felt. And that's what Mazda does best is, you got these other Japanese brands that have a luxury division, Lexus, Toyota, right? Infiniti, Nissan, Honda, Acura, but Mazda doesn't have one. Mazda is the brand, and they've been centered on a premium sort of, I would say, they've been centered on being a premium focused brand for the last few years, and it shows in their cars and the way that they're styling them. And I think they've nailed it. The simplicity is a beautiful thing. The way the cars flow, everything it's cohesive, it's coherent. And this is a good display of that, especially since they've worked out a lot of the initial issues that I had. The power is great. Let me get on it here. Yeah, no complaints. And this is worth the price. If you need a 3-row vehicle that's not too big, that has decent power and great styling, the answer is yes. Now, since I've already owned one, I wouldn't be looking to get another one. I personally would be looking more at like a CX-50, or if I wanted a daily, like a Mazda 3, because again, Mazda carries that philosophy. And if this is a one-car solution for you, or if you need a one-car solution, this would be a very nice option if you have a family. The only thing I would say is, yeah, Mazda, for your premium offering, you should offer a little bit more and not get into the trim level sort of thing, like certain things. Like this doesn't have a 360 camera. Now this is a premium sport. There's no 360 camera. You just have a rear backup camera, but no 360. But you have all these other features. You have heated and cooled seats. You have all the safety technology. You have a heated steering wheel, but no 360 camera. I guess you can't have it all, right? And the price is hard to argue. But yeah, that's it. I hope you find this helpful. My genuine response is the Inline-6 is better than the plug-in hybrid. Plug-in hybrid's faster, and unless you need that battery range, this is the one to get. It feels better everywhere. It sounds better. And as time goes on, maybe it's more reliable. There's no data that I have for that, but it would be a guess that I have. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you and your families. I'm out.